Hiyo! My name is Gréta and I make SignAlong videos, sign-by-sign tutorials and chronic illness related content. This video is a sign-by-sign tutorial of Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever. Just a quick note before we get into it, if you hear any snoring in the background, it's because I have 4 bulldogs in the room with me, which if you're lucky enough, you might see during the video. Unlike the previous sign-by-sign tutorials, I can't really break up this song into simple verses and chorus, but I'm trying my best to keep the units together. I know I'm breaking these up into smaller chunks, I just found it useful like that when I was learning it. Feel free to skip along if it's too slow for you. Alright, let's get started. The first verse goes as, when I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. If you know sign language, you will see that most of those are the words that we will be singing. This first part is quite slow. We have the luxury to actually sign every single word, which you'll see later in the song. It will become more and more challenging. I just want to note that instead of happier than ever, what we're signing is happy than before. Don't mind the dogs. Let's do this first bit, but with adding on to it. When I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. I think that's quite straightforward, so I won't break it down. Then it goes, give me one day, maybe 2. I did maybe because it came to my wrist more easily than or in this sequence, but feel free to use the or instead of maybe. It's up to you. So give me a day or 2 to think of something clever, to write myself a letter, like you put a stamp on a letter and then you point at the letter that tells me what to do. So you're just signing D. Alright, so I'll call it the first verse now. Let's practice it from the top. When I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. Wish it wasn't true. Give me a day or 2 to think of something clever, to write myself a letter, to tell me what to do. Good job! Let's move on to the second verse. This bit has questions in it, which you need to indicate with your facial expression and body. Do you read my interviews, or do you avoid my avenue? Notice that instead of skip, I use avoid. I felt like it was more fitting to the context. When you said you were passing through, this is someone passing by, was I, it's a questioning face, was I even on your way? I knew when I asked you to be cool about what I was telling you, you'd do the opposite of what you said. And I'm more afraid. Okay, let's try that second verse. Do you read my interviews, or do you skip my avenue? When you said you were passing through, was I even on your way? I knew when I asked you to be cool about what I was telling you, you'd do the opposite of what you said you'd do, and I'd end up more afraid. Well done. This, let's call it third verse, has the part which we did in the very beginning in it as well. So we'll just add a tiny bit in front of it. Don't say it isn't fair. Imagine as if these were like bar charts and it's not going to even, it's uneven. Don't say it isn't fair. You clearly weren't aware, so shake your head, didn't know. You didn't know. You made me miserable. So if you really want to know when I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish could explain it better. Wish it wasn't true. Let's try that third verse without any interruptions. Don't say it isn't fair. You clearly weren't aware that you made me miserable. So if you really want to know when I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish could explain it better. Wish it wasn't true. Great work. We're now halfway through the song. There is instrumental part separating the two different styles of the song. The second part will be fast, so we will be making some shortcuts to make sure that we can sign along and feel the music. Let's call this the fourth verse. You call me again drunk. Instead of in your band, we're going to make the driving sign, then pause, and then driving home under the influence. So you'll notice that I used two different signs because these are synonyms. So this and this can both mean drunk. I just thought I would shake it up a bit. So you call me again drunk in your band, driving home under the influence. You scared me to death, so badly, but I'm wasting my breath cause you only listen to your freaking friends. When she sings friends, it kind of overlays with the next line, and as the I don't relate to you repeated twice, I only sang along to the second one. So I say I don't understand you. No, cause I never value me this badly. You made me hate this city. I know it's a lot, but let's try practicing that all in one. You call me again drunk in your bands, driving home under the influence. You scared me to death, but I'm wasting my breath because you only listen to your freaking friends. I don't relate to you. No, I'd never treat me this badly. You made me hate this city. You can always go back and practice that bit again. I think it's the fifth verse. I'm just numbering them, so if you want to skip to certain bits, it's easier for you to find. This bit goes, I don't talk ish about you on the internet. If you see my sign along video, I found this quite quick and I felt the energy of the song overcoming me, so all I sang is I don't talk bad on the internet. So for the internet you make like how you sign all, but instead you have your middle fingers in and on the internet. So I don't talk ish about you on the internet. never told anyone anything bad, because that is just embarrassing. You were, as in like past tense, my everything, but all that you did is you made me freaking sad. So let's practice that again. I don't talk ish about you on the internet. Never told anyone anything bad, because that's just embarrassing. You were my everything, but all that you did was make me freaking sad. Don't waste my little time. Instead of the time I don't have, it's quite a design. So what I did is just don't waste my little time. Don't try to make me feel bad. I could talk about every time. So when you showed up on time or were on time, but that's empty, nothing. I got nothing, because you never did, never paid any mind. So I never cared about my mother at point time, because we will be shutting them out, or friends. So I shut them all out for you, because I was a kid. You ruined everything good. Always said you were misunderstood. Made all my moments, time, your own. Just freaking leave me alone. So you'll see at what level you're at with signing, because you might find it quite fast, and then you can always leave some signs out as long as it doesn't change the meaning. Let's try that from so don't waste the time I don't have. Let's go. Don't waste the time I don't have. Don't try to make me feel bad. I could talk about every time you showed up on time, but I'd have an empty line, because you never did. Never paid any mind to my mother or friends. So I shut them all out for you, because I was a kid. You ruined everything good. Always said you were misunderstood. Made all my moments your own. Just freaking leave me alone. Alright, we're done. I know it's a lot, so if you want to go back and practice the individual parts, feel free to. But if you think you're ready, let's try it all from the top, but without music. When I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. Give me a day or two to think of something clever, to write myself a letter to tell me what to do. Do you read my interviews, or do you skip my avenue? When you said you were passing through, was I even on your way? I knew when I asked you to be cool about what I was telling you, you'd do the opposite of what you said you'd do, and I'd end up more afraid. Don't say it isn't fair. You clearly weren't aware you made me miserable. So if you really want to know when I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. you call me again, drunk in your pants, driving home under the influence. You scared me to death, but I'm wasting my breath, 'cause you only listen to your freaking friends. I don't relate to you, no, 'cause I'd never treat me this badly. You made me hate this city. I don't talk ish about you on the internet. Never told anyone anything bad, because that's just embarrassing. You were my everything, but all that you did was make me freaking sad. So don't waste the time I don't have, and don't try to make me feel bad. I could talk about every time you showed up on time, but I'd have an empty line, 'cause you never did. Never paid any mind to my mother or friends, so I shut them all out for you, 'cause I was a kid. You ruined everything good, always said you were misunderstood, made all my moments your own. Just freaking leave me alone. That was amazing, well done. You can't imagine how hard it is not to sing along and just say it. So if it sounds weird, it's because I'm really trying hard not to actually sing while signing. If you think you're ready, go ahead and click at the card above to try and practice it with the SignAlong video with the actual song, or just rewind and practice the bits that you're not as comfortable with. I'm really curious how you found this slightly different structure. Would you have preferred if I left longer chunks, or were these verses a bit too long for you? Let me know what you think in the comments below, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also really grateful for any song requests. Next week I will be doing one that was requested by one of you, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.